So some big alien changes went in this week. The shift is the new alien structure that we just finished. The shift allows redeployment and kind of movement-based upgrades for the aliens. Well, first of all, the shift gives energy to nearby structures and players, so kind of functioning the way Adrenaline did in NS1. Another thing we added is a cool ability called Echo, and Echo allows the shift to literally move structures. They kind of like compress down into the infestation and they pop up elsewhere.
So for this patch, I've optimized the server browser. It should be really faster now. I've enabled the feature of sorting. And I also worked to add some stuff in the spectator mode, as improve the animation and also hotkey to change mode between free look camera, following camera, and the overhead camera.
So let's see, we added Lerk bite, and that is, people remember that from NS1, the Lerk in NS1 had a bite, so we actually added a view model to it, which has the mouth. Right now it's just using stand-in art, it's like the third person version of the model, so it's really low res, low poly, it looks crappy, but that'll get changed and updated with a nice high-res version of it. It's actually a poison bite, so it does damage over time.
So one of the cool things we added this build is Steam Workshop. It's a system that lets you download mods and maps for games very easily. So what we're using it for right now is when you connect to a server that's running a custom map, it'll automatically download onto your client as part of the connection process.
Another part of the shift, of course, is the Spur, which is the corresponding upgrade structure for the player evolutions. And we added hypermutation and celerity. So celerity now is all about that repositioning and redeployment, that whole idea from the shift. So now instead of just moving fast all the time, after a few seconds of running in one direction and not attacking, you start to gain speed and gain more and more and more, and the whole world starts blurring, and you can just go really fast. And you can basically, like, what I think would be cool is you can like start to attack one side of the Marine base and realize it like it's full of sentries on that side, or it's like, you know, there's too many Marines or whatever. You can literally retreat and just like run all the way around the map and like hit them on the other side. The other thing is hypermutation, which it allows aliens to speed evolve basically, and evolve really cheaply. So if you evolve to a high life form, like say a Skulk goes to Lerk and he gets hyper evolution, then that first evolve costs normal res and normal time. But if he then goes from Lerk back down to Skulk, he gets the resources that he spent on that Lerk. He gets those back, and also the time that he spent is applied to the future evolutions. So I think what's really cool about that is I'm hoping we'll see alien teams like totally reconfiguring themselves depending on the situation.
Okay, so this patch, we got a new placeholder model for the grenade launcher that we're testing out, the standalone grenade launcher, and which is from NS1. And the Lerk now has his beak so that he can do Lerk bite.
Okay, so we added resources are now displayed above resource towers. So when a resource tower collects resources, you'll see a little text above it that shows that happened. We also added a cool rumble sound for the Onos. So when the Onos is around, you'll kind of hear all the vents nearby rumbling, and you'll know that something's going on. And then another thing we fixed is there was a lot of problems with the fog of war system, how a commander sees units on the ground. So we fixed a lot of bugs with that, and that should be a lot more solid in this build.
Another really big change is we added a standalone grenade launcher weapon rather than an attachment. We haven't been happy with the fact that the attachment was just making the rifle better. It wasn't really any trade-off to it. The grenade launcher in NS1 had some trade-offs in the sense that you couldn't attack up close, so Skulks could get in easily, and you couldn't really do much about it once they would get in past the range of the grenade launcher.
The biggest change, I would say, on the gameplay side is unchaining of the alien evolutions. So the alien commander I thought was a bit boring. There haven't been a lot of choices for the commander to make. So I was talking to many people in the community and decided to try an idea where all the evolutions like leap and bile bomb and all those things that the aliens get over time, those are all separate researches for the alien commander.
We also, a big change is we moved the biobomb back to the gorge again for a whole variety of reasons, but we do think that this is where it's going to stay now, and we are pretty happy with it being on the gorge. I think it'll work better than on the Lerk, but it was a good experiment trying it on the Lerk, and it was good in some ways, but also not as good in other ways, so we think this is the right change to make.